40 years ago, Lamborghini built a wild, angular military machine called the LM2 and accidentally invented an idea nobody was ready for, the super SUV. Decades later, that idea became the Urus, the car that quietly funds much of what Lamborghini does. And now, sitting here in this vivid Giallo Creus yellow under the studio lights, is the version that takes the whole concept to its ceiling. This is the Urus SE Performante, and Lamborghini is calling it the fastest Urus ever built. The first thing that hits you is the carbon fiber. There is more exposed weave on this car than any Urus before it, across the hood, the roof, the wheel arches, the side skirts, and that enormous rear diffuser. The new hood is the star, with deep S-shaped air ducts carved into it and a raised power dome down the center that nods to old Lamborghinis. Up front, the intakes are bigger and sharper. At the back, there is a taller carbon spoiler working with a second wing, and the whole shape sits on new 23-inch wheels with an intersecting Y-spoke design. Even the hexagon shapes at the rear are a deliberate wink to the Countach. It looks less like a luxury SUV and more like something that escaped from a race paddock. Then you get to the number that matters. Under that carbon hood is the familiar 4-liter twin-turbo V8, but now it works with an electric motor as a plug-in hybrid, and together they produce 800 horsepower and 738 pound-feet of torque. That is the most powerful Urus in history, up by around 145 horsepower over the old Performante. The result is a 5,400-pound SUV that goes from 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds and runs on to a top speed of 194 miles per hour. To put that in context, it outmuscles the Aston Martin DBX, which makes just under 700 horsepower, and even the Ferrari Purosangue and its naturally aspirated V12. As a super SUV, on paper, nothing touches it. Here is where I have to be honest though, because the plug-in hybrid part deserves a closer look. The electric motor and the 25.9 kilowatt-hour battery are not really here to save you money at the pump. The pure electric range is only a little over 35 miles, and you are carrying that battery around in an already heavy car. In other words, this is not a hybrid built for quiet, guilt-free commuting. What softens that, and softens it a lot, is what the electric motor actually does. It fills in the torque instantly, the moment you touch the throttle, which is exactly what makes this the quickest Urus yet. And thanks to a huge amount of carbon fiber, this Performante is actually about 70 pounds lighter than the standard SE hybrid, so the power-to-weight ratio is the best in the entire class. The battery earns its place through speed, not economy, and once you accept that, it makes complete sense. The engineering underneath is where this car quietly gets serious. Lamborghini has fitted a new dual-chamber air suspension that can behave like two different cars. Soften it, and body movement almost disappears on a rough road, with vibrations cut by a quarter compared to the old Performante. Stiffen it and body roll in hard cornering drops by more than half. Bridging the two is a clever 6-axis motion sensor borrowed from a one-off Lamborghini called the Fenomeno that sits at the car's center of gravity and reads exactly how the body is pitching, rolling, and sliding. Then feeds a new integrated braking system that can haul the car down from 200 km per hour in under 130 meters. If deep breakdowns like this help you understand what you are actually paying for, subscribe so the next one finds you. There is even a new rally mode now, tuned for gravel and dirt, joining the road and track modes, so this thing is genuinely built to slide. Inside, the theme is what Lamborghini calls "feel like a pilot." There is a new 12.3-inch central touchscreen with graphics pulled from the Revuelto supercar, a digital driver's display, and an aviation-inspired panel of physical buttons that feels satisfyingly mechanical in a world of endless touch panels. The cabin is trimmed in a sustainable microfiber called Corsatex, with Y-shaped aluminum details and, of course, more exposed carbon. A new titanium exhaust system, developed with Akrapovic, saves another 10 pounds and gives the V8 a deeper, cleaner voice than before, with two exhaust lines kept completely separate for a purer sound. Now, price. Lamborghini has not officially announced the American number yet, but it is not hard to work out roughly where it lands. The Urus SE Hybrid it is based on already starts in the region of $260,000, and the Performante sits above it, so realistically you are looking at something around or north of $290,000 once it reaches showrooms. That is genuine supercar money for an SUV. But here's a detail most people get wrong about cars like this. The Urus is not a money pit that halves in value overnight. Recent data shows a Urus loses only about a third of its value over 5 years, noticeably better than the average for exotic hybrid SUVs, and it runs on proven Volkswagen Group mechanical hardware, which keeps it more dependable than its wild image suggests. So, where does that leave the Urus SE Performante? It is the point where Lamborghini's super SUV stops being a fast, indulgent family car and becomes something closer to a track weapon that happens to have 5 seats and a boot. The plug-in hybrid system is there for speed rather than savings. The tech underneath it is genuinely advanced, and the whole thing is wrapped in the most aggressive Urus body yet. 40 years after that strange military LM2 started all of this, this is the idea of the super SUV taken to its absolute peak, and it is hard to imagine anyone pushing it much further.